So you move to solve the equation. We're going to start by adding 126 to both sides. So we add 126. You get, and then over here we're going to subtract 30x to move the x's to one side. So those go away. 126 plus 30, we get 156 is equal to 12x. Then you divide both sides by 12. So you get that x is equal to 13. You got to be careful though. They didn't ask you what x equaled. They asked you for the length of yz. So you have to do 30 plus 13 plus 1. So you get 30 plus 13 plus 1 is 44. Looking at number 6. They want you to find the measure of RT. And to highlight it, RT is this whole length right here. Looking at the two lines they give you, those are two secants. And they want the length. So if you look at your formula chart, they're looking for segment length. It's 2 secants. So here's your formula. It's outside times outside plus inside is equal to the outside times the outside plus inside. Looking at my equation, so it would be 9 times 9 plus 13 is equal to 11 times 11 plus x. So if we simplify this, 13 plus 9 times 9, you put that in the calculator, you get it's 198 is equal to, you're going to distribute this 11, so you get 121 plus 11x. Then you just solve for x. So you minus 121 from both sides. You get 77 is equal to 11x. You divide both sides by 11. X is equal to 7. Remember, they wanted the length, so you're doing 7 plus 11. So 7 plus 11 is 18. So let's turn to the back. It says find the measure of arc AD. Here's arc AD. If you look, your inscribed angle is that guy right there. So you need to double him. The only problem is there's an x. Well, if we remember, we got to set up an equation first. We can say 11x minus 3 is equal to 8x plus 15. They're overlapping angles, so they are congruent. So if we solve for x, you add 3, subtract 8x, you get that it's 3x is equal to 18, so x is equal to 6. And then you substitute in, so you get 8 times 6 plus 15. You get that the measure of the arc is 126 degrees. Number 8. It says find the measure of angle LPN. So LPN would be this angle right here. So what we can do, they give you two of the arcs, so you can find this arc right here by knowing that the whole thing is 360. So 360 minus 102 minus 144 is equal to 114. So that arc measure is 114. It's an inscribed angle, so 114 divided by 2 is equal to 57. Number 9 asks you which ones are tangent. If they're tangent, that means they make a right angle, which means they make a right triangle. So I'm going to let you in on a hint. It's B and C. I'll show you how on letter B. You would have to do, this is a radius, so that's a radius. You're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So 8 plus 8, one side is 16 squared, plus 12 squared is equal to 20 squared. If that works out, then it is. So when you put this into the calculator, you get that it's 400 is equal to 400. Well, they are equal, so that is a right angle, or sorry, that is a tangent line. You would do the same thing for C, and you would see that your triangle is a right triangle. Number 10. Find the value of x. So just like what we did before, you'd use Pythagorean theorem. It's a right triangle because it assumed that segments that appear to be tangent are tangent. So you would do 8.4 squared plus x squared is equal to, oh, this one gets tricky because that's 5.6. This is a radius, so that's 8.4. So your whole hypotenuse is actually going to be equal to 14. So it's 14 squared. And when you do the math, so you do 14 squared minus 8.4 squared, you get that x squared is equal to 125.44. Take the square root, x is equal to 11.2. I'm going to start skipping some of these because our video is going to get really long. Let's look at number 12. We'll skip 11. Look at 12. It says find the measure of angle in SR. So we want the measure of the angle. So when looking at our formula chart, this side says segment lengths. We want angles. That's this side. I have two chords. So when you're using two chords, we can use chords or secants. Your measure is equal to your arc plus arc divided by 2. Arc plus arc divided by 2. So right here we have arc, and then here is my other arc. So it would be 50 plus 176 divided by 2 is equal to my angle. So in this case, when we work it out, put that into your calculator, you get that angle NSR is equal to 113 degrees. Let's look at number 13. It wants the measure of angle, or it says if measure of arc VYX, so VYX is this guy right here. They say it's 282, and the measure of angle UVX, which is this angle right here, is 4x minus 5. Find the value of x. So what I would do, if that one's not 360, this one's 282. If I can find the measure of this arc, then I have a formula. So 360 minus 282 tells me that that other arc is 78 degrees. So now I can use these two that I know to find an equation because they are angles and it's intersecting tangents, or it's a tangent with a secant. So the measure of your arc is half of the angle. So your angle would be 78 divided by 2 is equal to 4x minus 5. You work that out. 39 is equal to 4x minus 5. You add 5 to both sides. You get that it is 44 is equal to 4x divided by 4. X equals 11. We'll do a couple more. I'm going to do 14 and 15. Looking at 14 and 15, it says find the measure of arc DF. It wants to know what's the measure of this arc. So they gave you this arc and the angle. So now I have two secants intersecting on the outside. When I have two secants intersecting on the, they just say exterior, here's my formula. Big arc minus the little arc divided by 2 is equal to the angle. So big arc is 160 minus the little arc, which we don't know what it is, so we're going to call it x, divided by 2 is equal to my angle. Now it's algebra. If you can get this far and set up the equation, then you know the geometry. However, if you're getting the wrong answer, then you have algebra skill problems. So you would multiply both sides by 2. You get that it's 160 minus x is equal to 88. You can you need your x to be positive, you can do it different ways. You get that x is equal to 72. Number 15 is two tangents intersecting on the outside. So if we look, two tangents on the exterior is still big arc minus the little arc divided by 2 is equal to your angle. Because it's two tangents, to find the big arc, you would do 360 minus 131. So you get that big arc is 229. So then big arc minus the little arc, so 229 minus 131 divided by 2 is equal to, they want this angle right here, which is your x. You solve it, you get that x is equal to 49 degrees. The rest of them are just the same problems, but now it's involving algebra. If you have any questions on any others you missed, you need to be sure and ask. Otherwise,